Welcome to Post Halo versus Boise State. I'm Frisco, and I'm here with Magick. How are you today, Magick?
Hey, I'm good. I'm ready to get into some more Halo casting, and it's good to be back. Last week was my first week casting this post-university team in their victory, so it's kind of fun to tie it into the next week and try to see if they keep that win streak going.
Yeah, I'm missing a week. The week before that was my first, and yeah, it was very great. It was so cool to actually be in this again, you know?
No, I love it, and kind of being able to see like the journey here as we kind of cross over that halfway point of this season. There's kind of a lot on the line for today's matchup in particular.
Yeah, right now both teams are 3-2 and fighting for that playoff spot because once you get 4, you're in. You're in the playoffs.
Now the team that loses today. Now we were kind of like debating this a little bit, Frisco. The team that loses today still has a shot at playoffs in next week, but you have to think that they want to lock it in right here, right now. Now, especially post-university Boise State. I don't expect this to be a blowout match in any sense. They have that tied record, but Permish was playing very well for post-university last week, coming out as the team captain as well for post-university. Want to see if he carries that in, but Boise State, you were kind of filling me in. They have a lot going for them as well.
Yeah, they're the defending champions from last spring.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. So this is there's a lot, there's quite a bit on the line for that. Can they get in that playoffs? It's a little bit of a tight squeeze to get in there at this point, but can they do it? And only with only 2 players kind of coming from the previous season. We'll see if the new blood on the team kind of carries a little bit of that weight into there.
Well, they've had, ups and downs, I guess both teams have with that almost split overall record. But one of the teams securing the spot in playoffs is going to be a good feeling. The other going to a 3-3 overall record will be relying on next week to secure that spot. It's going to be hard to predict, but what I'm hoping for, as with any match that I'm casting in Halo, I just want to see a competitive match back and forth. I don't want this to be a quick 3-0. I want to see a game 4. I want to see potentially a game 5 and see these two teams really bringing their best here out on the virtual battlefield.
That's all you can really ask for in these situations. You want to see people really at each other's throats on this,
Yes.
Very much so. Otherwise, it's like, hey, you did your thing, but could have been better. Whatever.
Well, interesting thing from last week to kind of carry into this week, there's like a thread here because game 3 last week in that 3-0 for post-university Eagles, they won over the Lions of Southwestern Assemblies of God, but the game 3 was actually on live fire. So interesting that coming into this following week, we're seeing them right back on this home turf live fire map. And this is my personal favorite map in ranked. There's so much versatility when it comes to live fire. Makes for some really dynamic gameplay.
And I do say it does seem like Post does perform generally well on this map, because I noticed that when I casted 2 weeks ago, they had quite a lead going into the first match. It was a pretty big, about a 10 stock lead, if I recall. But then by the very end, they kind of lost the lead. They kind of let it go from them a little bit, and right near the end, and they lost it. But it still seems like a comfort pick for them a little bit.
And then also starting off with a Slayer, kind of the standard first team to 50 takes the win. Hopefully this will find their comfort level. They would obviously love to start off on a win, but both teams I think are going to come out guns blazing, knowing how much is on the line for today's matchup.
Yeah, now we have Wirta down mid, kind of falling under in the tunnel.
Couple of kills trading back and forth. We see 2 kills here on the side of Boise, but one, a pretty slow start. I think team's waiting there for that overshield. You see it's getting ready to pop, and Permish was on the flank play, dealt out some damage, was taken down though. I think it was Reality who did the little 180, and now Reality coming in with a back smack, and he is single-handedly keeping this opposing post-university lineup team at bay as kill after kill comes through. A killing spree, a double kill, and you have to think that Boise also won over that overshield.
This is crazy right now. Reality up 5-1, keeping it going, but got a little bit of action going down in top mid in hallway. Opting for the side area though.
Now, Permish was the player that was on the flank play earlier, so we see him doing almost a similar thing, but he's being found out. Does get a takedown first, and then True Mortar is going to pay right back. Now you see the sniper in hand, hits the body shot, but doesn't swap to the BR quite in time. That's actually a critical win there from Mydudesa.
Be able to sneak away and kind of regain shield. It's going to take it down into side tower over there. Getting a view down on overshield on True Mortar. Holding down mid a bit though. Getting a little bit of sight down on Rhaegar.
A nice win, and then we see the flank though. Both teams are a little bit split. You see the respawns coming through. Here's Toxico rotating across to the dummies, but Wirta's gonna find him out and gonna take him down. Now this is a key win right here. This 1v1 is gonna win over the overshield. Wirta pops up, grabs the OS, and he is able to secure it, pop it. Sometimes that delay between picking up the OS and activating it can get you killed, but luckily we had some team shots here, and now look at no slowing down. You have the overshield on, you're ready to take these fights.
And pushing right down into the bottom of green. Kind of circling around a bit though. Able to kind of sneak in right there. Oh, but you're gonna get repulsed. Yep, right off the ledge.
Oh, back B is so dangerous if you don't have that repulsor control. So Vagger there using that utility to not just get a kill, but also to take overshield off the map. That all counts as like 2 points. You're deleting a player, you're getting that kill point, but you're also taking away any use of that overshield.
And right now Boise is up 4 on post. Right now the starting pick isn't looking so great for post right now.
They did make a little bit of a comeback though. I think they were down 7 points earlier. Now they're looking at 5. They had a little bit of a run there in the middle with the overshield. So now trading back and forth. They're just kind of holding their ground at this 5-point deficit. Unfortunately, a takedown there is going to give some more advantage back to Boise State.
Dropping down drop shield and just to give a little bit of leeway there. Able to get shields back. Gonna cover hallway a little bit. Following up on Permish. Oh, a little bit of sneak attack. I feel like Permish has been kind of getting caught in these situations where he's kind of getting like back hit quite a bit, you know?
Yeah, he's kind of been splitting off from the rest of his team. Not right now, but in several other moments. Most of the time, though, he was getting a kill before being taken down himself. So you see him sitting at that even 6 kills and 6 deaths. So it's working to some extent, although they're not utilizing it to the fullest. Now, my dude has to make a quick retreat, has no shield, but I love that dipping behind a teammate to cover so that he can escape, regen that health, but he needs to try to find time to pop a reload before he can get back into the battle.
Oh, close encounter right here against the Permish, and Permish is able to sneak it out with a quick little grenade there. Going up against El Toxico.
Nice job.
Very good with the repulsor. Very nice.
That created some space and was able to kind of sidestep that frag grenade coming in and then lines up the shots of the BR. Now, we do see, however, that Post University is down by 7 points right now. As we reach about the halfway point, see the player with the sniper there. I think that might have been True Mortar, if I'm not mistaken. Permish also sees the sniper, so probably calling it out, decides to double back. But there's 2 players here at Cuts. He gets 1 takedown with the use of the melee. The second comes out as an assist, and this is what we need. Those power-ups are now in the hands of Post University. They have the heat wave, they have the sniper, they need to put them to work.
Yeah, right now this kind of like shooting down lane a little bit, unable to kind of poke his head out because there's all of Boise just kind of huddled up in there. Not a whole lot you can do in that situation. We got a plasma pistol situation going and able to get the new combo. Yep.
Oh, and the snipes as well. One player we haven't talked about much in this game, Anonimal, but now putting a name for himself on the board. You saw the snipe come through, and here comes the plasma pistol. Doesn't connect on the melee, but the BR is going to hit. Does a little bit of damage to reality, and Anonimal's trying to clean that up, but look at the quick clamber there as the player makes an escape.
Very interesting situation there. Trying to focus on that, I don't know who clambered there, but then kind of dividing your attention between the clamber and the tower is a very tricky situation. You really don't want to divide your attention too much in Halo, or else you're just going to kind of eat shield for the most part. It's going to get kind of fade away and go, you know?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. They really wanted to finish off the kill on that clambering player, but that clamber really saved their life. And unfortunately, then that left the pushing post university player out in the open. The fight here is going to come down to overshield. It's popping in just 2 seconds. So reality tossing out some spike grenades, trying to clear space, but there's 2 players from post university. Whoa. They get both takedowns. That overshield is ripe for the picking. And there's 3 more kills in a row as we see that Boise State now increase their lead to 10.
This is crazy. It's just like this lead has been so static for such a long time, and now just pulling farther and farther away right at the least opportune time, you know?
Yeah, this game can really start to snowball, right? They were holding at about 5 or 7, and then all of a sudden you see 10, and now a 12-point lead, and Toxico picks up a double kill as well, putting 2 more up on the board. There's reality with that overshield in hand, but he is up against the team fire, so it's going to be a fair trade of kills back and forth, but we're looking at 48-35. 2 more kills is going to seal game number 1 for Boise State.
Looking, kind of holding a down hallway right here, but this is just tough. They're just kind of backed into a corner right now, kind of pushed right in this really awkward area between hallway and house. It's just not a whole lot you can do in that situation, especially when grenades are flying. And
well, that's going to be game number 1. It did start to run away at the end, but I'd say a good majority, 60, maybe even 70% of the game was fairly close, just a handful of kills. And then all of a sudden, that streak of plays for Boise State, a lot of it came down to that overshield control. I think we only saw Post University with the overshield 1 time throughout the match. Really great prioritization and timing on those slays for Boise State.
Yeah. It's just when you have that kind of control over overshield, it's not much you can do. Like we saw so many situations with those 2 ones, and it's just, yeah, it's all you can really say.
If you're looking at game number 2, you know, we'll take a couple minutes here to kind of get set up, and this is a best of 5, so it's not over yet. Post University have a chance to regroup. Would you have any, I don't know, words of wisdom or advice for Post University as they come off of a game 1 loss and now try to regroup for the next match?
I mean, it's tough. I think there could have been a lot more situations where they kind of were bound closer together, kind of taking situations more and try and force them into 2v2 situations versus it just seemed like there was a lot of 2-on-1s on the side of, you know, Boise. It's just you need to just kind of group together more and kind of lead out. I would really like to see more of an oddball situation, because that way you're kind of incentivized to be together a little bit more. It might prove a bit more beneficial for Post. And I will say 2 weeks ago, they lost, but they did take some matches they did take a match in oddball. So they are, you know, familiar enough with it and able to kind of, you know, go around with it. It seems like a strong game type for them.
I'd love to see some objective play for game number 2, and maybe that will play for Post University's favor. Could you go to the last match results here? I just want to look across the stats and kind of just see who was popping off.
My bad.
No, you're good. I think you push tab to get back to your roster, and then at the fire, I don't know actually. I thought it was from this screen. I don't know. This is my problem for always using a controller. That's fine. We mostly saw what was happening.
This is my bad.
I threw you a curveball. I don't remember how to get back to your list. Like you're still grouped up with them? Which is
I'm
good.
still grouped up with them.
No, you're fine. When it came down to that game, though, you're looking at Post University. They are up against the defending champion, which obviously Boise State maybe haven't played as well throughout the season. They do have that winning record, 3-2, looking to make it 4-2 and secure their spot in the playoffs. However, a little bit of a tough spot here. I would think going into this matchup that Post would look at themselves as a little bit of the underdog. So with that said, if you know you're up against, you know, half of that champion roster from last season, it's gotta come down to like the team fire. And when you're talking about objective game modes, oddball for example, I think even with strongholds, if you're up against a team that you think, hey, we're the underdogs, they might be a little bit better, they might be a little quicker on the trigger, it has to be that team fire that comes through, not taking those 1v1s, looking for stragglers, looking for a 2v1. And then the second thing I would say is prioritizing the power-ups on the map as well. The overshield was a big factor in that win for Boise State. And always the seconds right before the power-up spawns in. Those kills count as more, not on the scoreboard, but in the grand scheme of things. And we saw time after time, Boise State getting a round of slays right before that overshield would spawn, making it a pretty much easy pickup for them at that point. So on the other side, Post University being a little bit more aware of those timers and ready to slay out to secure the power-ups. And, and that can apply to power weapons or utilities.
Do you think it should be a situation where they kind of force on the power weapons or the power-ups a little bit more, or should they kind of keep the back foot on them and kind of keep an eye on them to kind of prevent any sort of lead coming from Boise right now?
I mean, it kind of depends on which map and what the power-ups are that we're talking about. Like, for example, if we're on streets, right, and that could be any game mode on streets, we are going to Bazaar, so I can adjust it for a Bazaar CTF. For Bazaar, right, the two power-ups are pretty much out in the open. The rocket launcher on the top tower side, and then the overshield also in that middle market area, but on the lower ground. You cannot just straight rush to those power-ups. You need to get 1 or 2 kills first to secure a path to then pick up the power-ups. Did that answer your question?
Yes, pretty much, very much so. It's going to be very dependent on map. And also just like how you can kind of group together and kind of stay with each other to kind of cover each other in those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to cover for each other. And we saw a few moments of that, even with Post University. You know, 50-37 is not a huge point deficit. It's significant, but it's not a spectacular. So we're okay. We're staying out of that realm at least. But we did see multiple times where a player was no shield, doubled back, and a teammate covered for him. So if we can see more of that and then chaining that into some team fire, that's going to secure the middle section of this map, which is honestly the key point in CTF Bazaar. It's I like to describe this as more like chess and less like checkers. You have to win multiple rounds of slays to secure even one capture, just because of the way this map is laid out and the way the spawns work.
Kind of starting in a little bit of a neutral position right here, kind of getting the long shot right on Vagar.
2 slays already, and you see that the first power-up, that rockets, is in the hand of True Mortar as he gets a takedown with it. He actually gets 2 kills for 2 rockets. That's huge control here coming out from Boise State. Now they're going to push through this antenna area. There's reality with what's left of the overshield, but Mydudesa does a great job of playing his life and melting what was left of that OS. Unfortunately, didn't quite make it out of that with a trade, although it was close.
Yeah, it was. I know that there was kind of general cover, but it was still really a 2v1 situation and right there. Just kind of being right next to both players and kind of taking all that fire. It's so tough to kind of come out of that alive and actually get a kill out of it.
Here's the reset potentially coming through. We did see that Boise State off of those early slays did really well, but Permish, unfortunately, that first spike grenade, you see it catches the corner of that pillar, actually did more damage to himself and the other team, and Anonimal as well. Like, let's tighten up on those grenade placements a little bit Post University, because let's save them for the other team.
Yeah, speaking of self-damage, oh geez. Though, getting the low ground against True Mortar. Now it's on even ground. Oh! Ooh. Very clutch grapple coming out from True Mordor right there.
Yeah, but great damage dealt by Anonimal. That'll at least slow down that push. And look at this 180, takes down 1 kill, and then so aware of the players behind him, hopefully buying enough time. But here we go. The second push rather to the flag now, and True Mortar picks up a kill. Vagar's not going straight for the flag. Again, it's almost like those power-ups. Slays first, objective second, because once you clear out the base, now look at the respawns coming through.
Yeah, Il Toxico's gonna get a little bit of a sandwich here right now. Vagar is coming through, dropping flag, opting for that kind of safety measure right now.
I wanted to see Toxic grapple the flag. It probably wasn't a smart play, but I always like the style plays. So instead he saves the grapple. He might use it for a quick rotation here as he's actually chasing down the flag. And there's the grapple plays. He goes to high ground, leaving a Vagar there to run the flag on the side of Boise State. This reset is crucial. Anonimal's not going to make it there in time to get the touch, and he gets trapped. But do you see that overshield? That's back-to-back overshields. One on the side of Boise State, and with those power-up controls, they secure a capture.
Yeah, and here we got Wirta coming in to get the push onto Boise right now. Looking pretty clear for him to kind of sneak in and actually get this flag right now.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. He's got the bulldog for any close quarters combat as well. But I like the patience on that run. Looks like both flags are going to be out of the bases at this time, though. We're going to meet in the middle. It's going to come down to this middle control. And Permish needs to win this because he has the rocket spawn right in front of him. He wins that critical 1v1, secures the rockets. Wirta does go to work with the bulldog, but they know there's more players down here. Permish not wanting to be the objective player because of the rockets, but he gets found out. Reality lasering.
Yeah, just in that corner, you're just kind of like in the line of sight, and it's just you don't really want to sit there for terribly too long. You're just gonna get sniped out for it, and it's such a bad angle for rockets too.
Yeah, honestly true, because you're in low ground and close quarters, more likely to do damage to yourself than the opposition. But somehow Permish off of the respawn finds himself the rockets again. I don't know how he did that.
I have
he had
no
the
clue.
Rockets, he died, rockets changed hands. Permish all of a sudden has rockets back in his hands off of the respawn. They get that reset, which is huge. But now if they can get a couple of slays across the middle of the map, they can make a push for another flag run.
I know, down 0-1 though. It's gonna be a little tough. Especially if it keeps staying in this kind of neutral position right now. There's not a huge push. Oh, going in for the grapple, but wow, kill assist, nice.
I love the harpoon. Honestly, I don't know how effective it is, but hey, if the opposition was gonna have the OS, you could grapple and go in for a back smack, which is the Achilles spine if they have overshield active, which is one of my most favorite medals in the game, but instead wins over that overshield. Permish is having a push here to the flag, but again, the slays are very one-sided. That's gonna make it very difficult for Post University to make a flag run.
Opting to kind of wait it out a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Not really going for the push. I thought there was gonna be an interaction between him and Permish for a second there, but purple flag going right through tower basement. He stuck the flag. I love it.
Yeah, that flag not going anywhere. That spike grenade's gonna hold it right in place. No, not really. But the reality has some cover there. As you see, he passes by teammates, and now there's a desperation run coming through from Wirta, but the defense was ready. A second capture comes through, and honestly, that flag run looked even more smooth than the first one.
Yeah, it's now 0-2. It's just really tough situation. It's like you got to start getting more pushes, and you got to start going for those kind of situations. If you aren't making those pushes, if you're on the back foot the entire time, you're never going to get another score. And
there was a moment there where Post University had 3 down for Boise State, and that's where you kind of expected Permish to keep making that push toward the flag, but for whatever reason was diverted, was kind of brought back to the middle of the map and wasn't able to capitalize it. So we need to see that happen again. As we see Wirta wins out a fight, that's a good victory. There's 2 in a row now for Wirta. Look at True Mordor here at the grapple spawn. They can team fire, take him down. Now this is their chance for a push. Anonimal is gonna play for the Rockets, and they have map position. They have all of Boise State back in their base.
yeah, right now trying to get the finish off. Ooh, saving with the overshield right now, trying to get the finish on Wirta, but Permish is going to punish him for that. And here's their chance right now, pushing for flag. Permish is going to take it with a no, actually overshield just ran out.
Hey, he used it for what it was worth, though, especially coming up against that Bulldog player. He needed that overshield to be able to aggressively counter against that Bulldog. And now you see he has a couple of dynamos. He's doubling back, but there's pressure coming on both sides. Does connect with the Bulldog, enough for the assist. And now Anonimal is going to pick up the mantle, as it were, and try to deliver this flag, that home stretch, to get their capture on the board.
And getting plenty of coverage from Mydudesa right now. And that's it. That's now they're on the board. 1-2.
Beautiful.
Beautiful stuff coming out of Post. Very good push. Taking those opportunities when you are up, actually going in and pushing for that flag interaction.
And Post might have taken some notes there from Boise State, because that round of slays happened just before the Rockets spawned in, and then off of that Rockets and overshield, they were able to complete that push to the flag and then deliver it all the way home. So the timing of those slays right before the power-up spawns gives them that advantage. So as hard as it is at this stage of the game, we have 4 minutes 30 left. We do need to see Post University still making smart, patient plays, which is so hard when you see that score deficit. To have some restraint, wait for that opening to come to you. You need to get those slays first. And unfortunately, right now, the slays look like they're on one side, but then, oh, here's the answer back. A couple of slays now for Post.
Ooh. And now a little skirmish with Permish right now, and oh, gonna get the assist. My dude's on against Reality. Reality's going down though.
Good. Good move here from Post University. Watch for the overshield spawning in. So again, the timing, and Mydudesa is going to hold this high ground, allowing teammate to go and pick up the overshield, just giving some good cover. Anonimal is going to collapse on that alley side, chasing down a kill. Has more players behind him though, so you see this grenade behind, really smart, and now going to double back and trade out. This is some great team plays right now from the Post University lineup.
Yeah, altering out there, especially when you're in such a close quarters like that, and grenade play is kind of really heavy in this game. You definitely need to back out of there. So that switch was very prime.
It does look like Boise State got to stop at their base, however. So you see the slays going down, but all the attention is on this half of the map. I think right now, though, Permish, last alive, is going to have to wait for the respawns. Does clean up a kill, now trying to preserve his life as the rest of his team is hitting that black screen.
Yeah, very good rotation. Gonna regain shield right there. Though True Mordor is gonna get a sight on him and gonna, wow, that was actually really quick.
True Mortar is shooting like a laser, 24 and 10 in this game. Absolutely incredible plays. And I mean, that perspective, as painful as it was to see it from Permish's side, True Mortar was lining up shots from a low ground position and connecting for those kills. So really impressive work there. Reality also at 21 and 7, tripling up the kills to deaths. And that's really the story of this game so far, is who's winning out those slays.
Yeah, but right now Reality does hold on to the flag, and well, right now we're on Anonimal. Is gonna get on the back foot, going to go back, further back into yellow flag, trying to regain a little bit of shields.
Oh, I like this counter pull, a little bit of a stall. Wirta needs to get the takedown, however, he does not. And it looks like we have some trouble back in the base. Reality coming through with the double kill. If this capture comes through with only 2 minutes to go, it's going to spell some trouble. Reality with that huge play right there, the home stretch. And now switches over from offense to defense and making it look easy.
Throws in some dynamos. Wirta kind of cornered there with Permish. Here comes Overshield again. A lot more Overshield control coming out of Permish this match.
Yes.
It's very crazy. Like, definitely taking those notes, as you say.
This run is going to be so hard, though. Look at the respawn there on Alley's side from Boise State. Looks like True Mortar is making his way toward middle of the map. Anonimal does win a key takedown. Permish, I love this. Toss the flag off the side, double back to regen. Anonimal is trying to cause havoc in the middle of the map and winning another critical takedown. But there's still 2 players from Boise State on the loose, and one of them is Reality coming out with another double kill. Anonimal now goes in for the melee, and that was really impressive to come out with that kill and stay alive, at least for a few seconds. It's not going to be enough, however, to reset the flag. Yeah,
so close, but yet so far. Sorry, just shifting a little bit here. Running down to side with Il Toxico.
Yeah.
And with flag up, this is looking like it's going to be a score right now.
It's not going to be a score because their flag is also out.
It is away.
So
okay.
in this BTF, you have to have a reset before you can score. So it's kind of like a flag standoff. But honestly, when you're up 3-1 with 35 seconds, you don't need the score at this point in the game.
Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
You just need to stall for the rest of the timer.
Yeah. And that's going to go. Taking shields off of Permish, but not quite enough. Shooting down range on Vagar, but he's going to opt to back off. But this is kind of the situation where you need to kind of grab and just kind of get something going. But with only 13 seconds left, not a whole lot you can do.
Yeah, I do like the plays from Permish. You see he gets another takedown. He's at 18 and 18, but also 11 assists. Was really being a part of the majority of the slays here for his team. But at the end, they're just outnumbered, out of time, out of grenades. And it's going to be a 3-1 victory that gives Boise State just one more match to secure not just the series, but their spot in the playoffs.
Looking really tough for Post right now. Can they come back from this 0-2 lead, 0-2 deficit? It's like, where do you go? There was some strength in Slayer. Maybe you want to opt to try and kind of influence that. I think the winning team chooses the game type, though, don't they?
I don't know. I honestly don't know how the map mode selection process works.
Yeah.
I know that it's not like pre-assigned, so there is some choosing going on, and I think priority is for the winning team. But other than that, I'm not too familiar. So
yeah,
I'm gonna guess just because it's fun. I'm gonna guess Streets Oddball.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I would like to see Streets Oddball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice. Kind of like a lot more close quarters-y, you know, kind of weaving in and out. A lot more intimate.
I was running ranked last night, and I kept on getting recharge. I'm sick of recharge. Please, can we go anywhere except for recharge? I also had a few catalysts thrown in, but the crazy thing is my two favorite maps are Live Fire and Streets. I didn't get them for the whole play session, and I must have played like 15 games probably with no Streets or Live Fire, which is actually crazy. So
yeah, that's a shame.
This game, I tell you what, they are trying to keep me out of Onyx, knowing that the rank reset is coming next week Tuesday, and I'm running out of time. They're just trying to force me to be hard stuck in Diamond 4. But you know what the 4 in Diamond 4 stands for, right? Forever, because I'm never leaving this rank.
Oh my god, jeez. Now I actually got to work on getting into some sort of rank. I haven't played this in so long. I actually got to get in again, you know?
You know, I tell you what, the reset happens on Tuesday. We can run some placements and, you know, see where we stack up, and there we go.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down. I would be down to do that. It sounds like it would be fun. I haven't, you know, I need more people to play with in general. It'd be very nice.
Yeah, make it happen. Could you scroll over to the right on this scoreboard?
Yes.
Next page, so it's like the right bracket, I believe.
Where's the right bracket? Sorry.
Or you can click it at the bottom there. Yes. Go one more. Perfect. Awesome. Yep. I wanted to see the KD because, oh my goodness, Reality with a 20.3, absolutely. And then True Mortar, we were talking about his stats as well. Hits the 30 bomb at a 19.0. I mean, I don't know that those are the two returning players from the championship team of Boise State, but I wouldn't at all be surprised because I mean, they were playing like champions either way.
Very much so. And it's like, you know, you don't have quite as much of a, with Uli Toxico, not quite as much, you know, -10, but able to kind of carry, you know, able to kind of like get that differential going, you know, really kind of carrying that aspect. And with post 3 players down into the negatives, it's not looking so great for them. Permish is going to kind of carry that a little bit higher though with a 2.7. Commendable, especially in these situations, down 0-2. But we'll see where apparently we're going to Strongholds on recharge, so your wish has not been granted. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. The only way it could have been worse if it was King of the Hill, so we'll take Strongholds. Okay, we're good. Now, Strongholds is actually really fun on this map, and I did like what we saw from Permish, not just the KD, the assists as well, but also just like the smarter plays. We do see Permish, even as the team captain is the highest, the Slayer here for Post University. The thing that surprises me is how often he does kind of lone wolf, which can be effective if the rest of your team knows how to build around that strategy. I mean, we've seen the lone wolf plays pay off time and time again, but you still need a solid 3 that can hold the attention and most importantly preserve their lives long enough for you to rotate into the position you want as that flank kind of player. So I liked what we saw in game number 2 from Permish in particular, but we need to see a little bit more of that chain together throughout the rest of the roster if they're going to take a map off of this series.
Yeah, the assist on everybody else kind of needs to rise up a little bit in order to kind of match the energy Permish is bringing in those direct conflict situations. But here we go. Reality is going to be heading right towards to camo right now.
Yes, it is active camo here, and you see that nice grenade placement from Reality, just predicting that push, and pre-fires that frag, bounces it off the floor, is absolutely perfectly placed. And now with the camo, wastes no time to secure the other power-up, which is the shock rifle. Reality, save that one for the highlight reel.
And he's kind of sneaking around a little bit, kind of biding his time with camo, able to kind of sneak in, but going to get out of there real quick and not able to kind of take full advantage of it in that situation. But he's going to take Permish down. Perfect.
I mean, that patience paid off, right? When you have the active camo, you have the shock rifle, you do need to preserve your life because you are priority number 1 on the side of Post University. That grapple, okay, maybe the first slip up we saw from Reality in that string of highlight plays, but in the end, he's staying alive and really giving us some awesome plays, just one off of that killing spree. As we see, the early points in this game are ticking as expected toward Boise State. There's Reality with a shock rifle once again. That is the killing spree.
Yeah, let's see if we can line up on Anonimal, but Anonimal is taking quick presence of that, but is gonna get sidewinded by oh, wow. Reality's going down in that situation too. Jeez, that was quite a bit happening there.
I don't know. I don't understand Wirta's play there, kind of rotating out of Whirlpool and not being aware. Like, there was no camo in play, but just not being sure of where Reality was placed. When you have a player on the map that has shock rifle, you need to prioritize and always know where that is, whether that's calling it out or pinging it for your teammates so that you can focus fire. But now I love this rotation here from Mydudesa as he flanks around, and look at the pinch coming through between him and Permish in order to get the takedowns. That's the first points we see on the board for Post.
Yeah, I really did like that rotation because it was a lot of aggression coming out there, especially against kind of like you know, a grouped up situation there. But you know, I really liked taking one out, kind of rotating back, and then following up with Permish. It was very nice.
And there's the team fire to take down Campbell. That's what we needed to see. So we're seeing a little bit of an answer back here on the side of Post University, and it's not too late. If there's one game mode that you can mount a comeback, it is Strongholds. Just the way the point structure is, especially if you can get a triple cap and start doubling up on those points, which is what it looks like they are trying to pressure as they have Boise State trapped. A little bit of a triple cap coming through, and now all of that like intensity now, all of that stress is put back onto Boise State.
Here comes Permish, not aware of who's right behind him, kind of searching in, but is going to get the cleanup with on Reality right there. And Toxico for the killing spree.
Double kill, killing spree resets the zone as well, and Permish is going full speed ahead. 6-6 at the start of this game, but getting more help from teammates as well, and just winning these critical kills. But there's 2 players in front of him at long haul. Toxico's down to 1 shot. Permish
down to none.
Reality's gonna jump up to Sneaky though. Remote detonation. Hit those frags. Hit those frags. Doesn't connect.
Not quite. Reality. Where are you, Reality? Reality gonna try and push in, but Anonimal is right back on the point. And down, only 1 shot away. Now with a little bit, gotta really keep on the back foot here to keep your shield up. But the cleanup is gonna be on Anonimal, and Vagar is gonna go in on the spot.
But don't look now. It was just a tie game. We do see the majority of zones though. What a comeback there from Post University. Now Boise State with the majority take back just a lead, but I mean, it's all but tied at this point. Both teams in the 80s looking to flip over A so that we have Post University once again on the scoring side. But look at this push. Yeah, 3 players.
Oh, now coming into a 3-on-1 situation, and Mydudesa is not going to come out of that alive. Right now we got the true Mordor trying to kind of play the angles a little bit, trying to get a little bit of force on C. Gonna get the kill assist right there. Post down 3 players.
Oh, I didn't notice that. You're absolutely right. That's a tough spot. Permish, though, last alive, still playing aggressively. Honestly, I would have loved to see him rotate back to long haul and play his life, knowing that it was a 1v2, 3, 4 situation. Wait for the respawns and choose to preserve that life. But see a couple of players sitting in the Whirlpool. Vagar's going to take advantage of that moment of spawning in, eliminates them right off the map. I think we might potentially have a disconnect. We're gonna play it out, but I see players standing still, players hitting walls. It could just be out of frustration, so we'll see how the rest of it plays out. But it does seem like there might be something a little fishy going on. We'll see if Anonimal can still stay alive as he pushes this back pipes area. He's gonna try to grenade Reality, who's behind B box. Reality somehow stays alive. Wirta finds him out, and Anonimal does trade out on that sleigh. So this is the chance now for Post. They need to get onto one of these zones. Wirta finds a fight, but Vagar connecting with the pink mist of that Needler. If there's one sound that lives in my nightmares, it has to be that Needler firing.
Yeah, just one of those situations you never want to be on the receiving end of the Needler. Especially it feels like it's a lot quicker to kill in this game than in previous games. Gonna have a situation.
An overkill for True Mortar? No way! Mortar is absolutely popping off. Gets all 4 players. And then that A capture, though, was held off. It was stalled for a little bit. True Mortar's going to complete that. My dude has to watch out for the players coming through that control. And active camo is spawning as well.
Il Toxico is going to make a push to hold on to A, to defend A right now. Gonna volley that grenade right around the corner. I see Wirta down there is kind of trying to kind of get this capture going on A, on B rather. And he's gonna take it.
That's impressive. Hard zone to capture. And now we see Reality is trying to sneak over to grab that camo. Reality has already had camo twice in this game. Not gonna let it be a third though. Permish wins the fight. Wirta's holding off 2 players in Whirlpool. Doesn't have any grenades, however, to work with, but honestly bought a lot of time. It's not gonna show up on the stats as anything, but he was allowing space for Permish to get this camo.
Now Permish is going to hold out a little bit on the charged shields, but is going to miss the stick against Il Toxico. It is going to work out for him though.
Now this is smart. He's not going to spend his time sitting on the zone, right? He has the camo. He needs to be free to roam. So a teammate coming through to finish that capture allows Permish to stay on the prowl with the camo.
Anonimal is going to go down though to True Mordor. True Mordor is going to recapture A. Reality is in a bit of scuffle, and he's going to go down for that. Putting Boise down 3 players.
Look at the score line, though. We saw another 50-point lead there from Boise State, but somehow Post University finds a way to climb back. It's a tie game now. The lead is switching sides. Permish gets another critical takedown, but there's 2 players behind him. Again, no grenades to bounce down that hallway. He's going to have to run for his life. What a smart way to rotate out of there, but Reality, taking advantage of the high ground, has a fresh shock rifle.
Oh, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it's like, geez. These rotations have been really good coming out of Post. Able to kind of flush out of these situations in really effective manners. Don't stick around too long when it's not going to be warranted, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the stats, and I'm pretty sure Post University is behind on slays. Just looking at the numbers, Reality himself sitting with 21 now as he gets that final kill, but the lead is what matters. It's an objective game, and now a 40-point lead here for Post University, who, by all accounts, are behind in the slaying department. Something that's surprising to see, but the efficiency of their slays has been the key point.
Yeah. True Mordor is going to go right down the side of the map with those snipes. Really nice, really nice. Going for the quick grenade, trying to get a little bit off of Wirta, but Wirta is going to come out on top in that situation. Oh, gonna get sniped right away.
This is coming down to the wire now. Frisco, when I'm looking at strongholds, I like to see that 200-point mark as like the red zone, right? To use a football analogy here, because that's the home stretch, right? You're 4/5 of the way down the field, as it were. And right now, both teams are in that red zone, meaning that one string of slays could be enough to win it over. And Permish right now opening up the door of opportunity with a huge play. If he turns this into a double, he does. He flips the zone, and now advantage for Post as they try to track down Reality at the back of B.
This is huge right now. This is huge. This is gonna more than likely. It seems like it's gonna go into game number 4 right now. Mydudesa is gonna be sneaking right in between cover right there, going into interaction with True Murder, and that is going for the double kill back smack on Il Toxico.
Yes.
Very strong play.
There. Still a close game, though. It looks like just like an 8-second lead, though. Every slay so critical. Permish gets a double kill again. He resets the zone to keep those points ticking. Now Post University is just 25 seconds away from victory, but it's not over yet. It can be one string of kills to turn this around, and if there's someone to do it, it's got to be True Mordor, sitting at 21-15 with 10 assists to his name, a 19-plus KDA in game number 2, but not much time to work with. The clock is ticking.
That 2-on-1 situation with Permish and Mydudesa is not going to work out in his favor. This is looking mighty clean for Post right now, and that is going to be a game number 4.
I'm going to have to look at this Post game and add up the slays, because I still think at the end of the day that Boise State had more slays even in that loss. Post University, their efficiency on the slays and locking down those objectives. You mentioned this earlier, Frisco, that they make smart objective plays, and I think we saw it right here in game 3.
Yeah. it was just really strong stuff. I really loved just kind of seeing them rotate in and out and really just, kind of being solid on those points,
Yeah.
Sorry, trying to.
I think.
Yeah.
I think go to scoreboard.
Yeah,
You were right there.
Yeah.
Oh, objective time. Okay. Look at objective time. Do you see Toxico's stat right here?
Oh my! Playing nothing but the objective.
I almost never look at objective time, but Toxico, his tag there is stacked, so he's stacked up on that objective time in the stronghold, 446, whereas on the side of Post University, pretty even across all four.
All right, let's see what else we got. We wanted some kills. So it just lists the objective. It just lists defensive and offensive
keep going.
kills.
Keep going down the next page. We'll get there.
I think that's it.
Wait. Okay. Go through it one more time.
Oh, I'm hitting previous right there.
There
okay.
we go. There we go.
My bad.
I was like, it's out there. All good. All right. So I'm gonna do the math, right? I used to be a math teacher. So we got 9 and 24 is 33 plus 9 is 42 plus 13. Okay, that's 55. And then on the other side, 18. I'm gonna write it down before they start the game. 7, 23, 21. Okay. I'm gonna do the math. You do your talking thing.
Yeah. It does look pretty kind of one-sided towards Boise on the kill count.
69 to 55. They outslayed 14, which is not an insignificant number. I mean, reality with the 10.0, we saw Mortar there with the 8.3. Both of them in the game 2 had huge KDAs. They come out again with huge KDAs, but in the objective modes, it's not just about the number of slays.
Yeah, if you can work the objective that much better, each kill is going to be, even if you have less kills, it's what kind of worth are you getting out of those kills? Are you killing players that are on objectives? Are you killing players that are kind of grouped up and you kind of like weaken those kind of formations? Those kills are going to have different worths, and what you can kind of get out of it is going to be different. So it just seems like in that situation, Post definitely had the more worth behind their kills.
Well, they're going to need to do that again in this game number 4. Now, we saw live fire game 1, and that overshield was all but exclusively in the hands of Boise State. We need to see a difference here, specifically for Post University contesting and getting slays in order to secure that overshield. Now, the thing going for Post University, we have another objective mode, and it seems like objective has been the play for them. But unfortunately, though, True Mortar with the sniper does a quick 1-2, clears the zone. Watch out for that repulsor as well.
Yeah, and you don't need to be getting headshots with a sniper to be effective with a body shot into a slap. It's gonna be great. There's the repulsor.
No!
Worth kills, high worth kills with the repulsor. Wow, crazy.
I wanted to see that snipe connect because the double kill was huge, and the fresh overshield just sent off the map and a mind the gap. And now Toxico is on the chase, chasing down Permish, gets the back smack right there in the middle of that clamber. We are trading back some kills here, back and forth, but no, that's all 4 going down on the side of Post.
Yeah, Mydudesa, Wirta's not going to get out of the situation 3-on-1. It's just, again, you got to group up a little better. You don't want to be in those situations where you're just going to be kind of ganged up on. You kind of need to rotate back and kind of find your teammates in those situations.
No surprise to see Toxico being the objective player yet again, locking down the zone after a nearly record-breaking 4:46 objective time in that game number 3. Reality's gonna find Permish with those grenades, and then another trade of kills coming through, but Vager's trying to break out. Anonimal shuts him down, and now Toxico is that objective player. Last man standing, has to be a little bit nervous because here comes the push from Post.
Oh. And now looking like Post is going to take point again. Permish decides to kind of push up a little farther. Going to kind of play a little bit of defense right now. Offense while on defense, rather.
I agree. Either way you look at it, right? The best offense is a good defense, and the best defense is a good offense. And with it, though, Permish does come out with that double kill. He gets a trade on the second. Meanwhile, there's a fight on the other side of the map. True Mortar with the Needler. But look at the time on the hill. We see that Post University are creeping up, but they need to keep this locked down, because if Boise State wins out the hill for even, I'd say, 5 seconds, they're going to secure that first point. It's not about how much time you have. It's about who gets that last second, and there's 3 down for Post. It's looking trouble. Anonimal's the last hope now, and he is taken down as well.
Wow, and that goes to Boise. crazy. It's like even though no matter how long you're holding on to it, even in that last minute situation, it's just you under pressure. If you lose it, you lose it.
You see some good kills trading back and forth, and that first hill was competitive. So we see Post University in a familiar position, kind of playing on their back foot, playing the comeback kid position. Reality's going to make it tougher, though. Heat wave in hand.
Hill Toxico is going to push Hill, but then that 3-on-1 situation, it is not going to work out for him. Mydudesa is going to go down as well. Permish, being the last one within the vicinity, is going to get ganged up on, though, and they are going to lose it.
Yeah, you mentioned that Toxico, like, he wasn't able to get the slay, but what he did is dealt out some early damage, which allowed then for teammate Reality with the heat wave to come through and just clean up. So Toxico, again, coming out with some assists, as you see him continue climbing on the assist counter, is really making just some good team plays, even though it's not coming out with the kills.
I was waiting for Mydudesa to, like, be seen. I'm like, it's not gonna poke out. Really good hiding, but it's like, wow.
He repulsed the guy back into his frag grenade. I can't.
I love these interactions in this game. The sandbox is just so cool with like all these different, the grappling hook, the repulsor, primarily those two. It's so great to see what the interactions.
Oh. And the BR. Sometimes Anonimal says all I need is the BR. He has this repulsor. If he lines it up, he can actually launch mortar off of the map there in that left corner, but instead he's going to hold on to the zone. Uses the heat wave to deal out some damage on the overshield, but the overshield is going to be enough to keep the player alive, at least for the time being. And Mortar's here calling the janitor because he's cleaning up kills left and right.
Yeah, see, Wirta is going to get the plasma shot off, but is not going to be able to follow up on it, putting True Mordor up another kill, 12 and 5 on True Mortar. Wow, very strong showing right now. Vagar is going to stay on point, and it's like right now Post just kind of spread. They don't have like they're too far apart. They're not able to kind of get a strong showing on any of these points right now, and they got to go for those really condensed pushes, or else it's just not going to really be in their favor any farther.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Wirta there kind of looked a little bit deer in the headlights, kind of got caught holding on to the objective, which is good, but then not realizing where that push was coming from. There's a lot of sides to watch, and I feel like there's a little bit of something off with the team comms right now or Post University, that they're not aware of where that rotation is coming through. It would always be interesting to hear a listen in, but I think if a little tightening up, they can win those slays, and that's all they really need. They're so close to capturing these zones if they could just clean up a little bit of the team fire.
Yeah, that grenade from downtown is gonna put Wirta in a very tough position right now. Has to back off point.
Nice.
And let's see, Reality is gonna make the push for it, taking down Mydudesa, and Wirta is kind of exposed with the sniper on the side, is gonna get down with a double kill on Reality.
And we see that Reality looking there for the sniper. Not sure if it dropped down below or if it was just out of ammo and therefore like despawned, but you could tell he took a second there to kind of take inventory of where that power up is. This zone is being contested. It's not quite do or die here for Post University, but it's getting close, and they do have the overall lead on the hill, although Permish trying to push solo, it's not going to be enough. He himself is staying positive, but it's not enough for the overall team to make that collapse.
Yeah, but now here point is uncontested. Will we see Post take it back and kind of get themselves on the board? But with Permish being the lone player now full team kill, it's not looking good for Post right now.
This hill is going to spell trouble. The next hill actually rotates over to the overshield spawn, which can be double damage. Basically, if you have control of the hill, you have control of OS. And True Mortar, no, he almost had the triple, except that the third came through as an assist, but popping off with that sniper, that's a full team wipe.
Yeah, it's so crazy. When you have such a strong player with such a strong piece of weaponry, making everything look impossible in those situations.
I mean, it's interesting. We didn't see much of the sniper in game number 1, even though we were here on live fire. Now, all of a sudden, we come back to live fire game 4, and like the sniper is like the MVP, like the star of the show, especially if you put it in True Mortar's hands. Maybe he just needs some warm-up time, because now he is a full speed ahead.
Yeah, and Wirta's getting caught in the same position he was before, in the exact same spot. Really good cognizance coming out of Toxico right now, pushing. I think it was Toxico that pulled up on him last time too. Oh no, it was True Mortar. It was True Mordor.
It was correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, but Toxico had some help from teammates there. He lands the melee, and then a teammate can get that cleanup. Mydudesa trying to shoot 3 players at a time, but again, it's not prioritizing one target. There's so much happening at all times. A trade of kills left and right, but that's going to leave. Look who it is, Boise State. They're just seconds away from securing their spot in the playoffs. If they can lock down this hill, that's going to be a GG's.
Very good repulse jump, but not going to work out, though. Kind of just getting out of a sticky situation, but it's not going to, Post does have that covered.
Okay, it's not over yet. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't count your hills before they're capped. Something like that. Post University, they were just seconds away from being sent home, and they get that full team wipe.
That is definitely the saying, by the way. That you can find that in like a Webster's like old country sayings dictionary. I don't know what the term would be for that.
That's right. That's right. Don't count your hills before they're capped. And with that, though, the 4th cap comes through. Boise State, they secure their spot in the playoffs. They come out and win it. But in a game 4, 3-1, respectable showing here from Post University. Boise State, however, just proving to be the better team today.
Yeah, Boise is going to be going to playoffs. Post does have one more chance next week, though, to kind of secure their spot as well. Let's take a look at the scoreboard.
I can tell you, it's gonna be True Mortar. It's gonna be reality. It's gonna be. I mean, come on.
For kills.
Yeah. I mean, look at True Mortar 15.7, reality 14.7. I mean, those two players are a force to be reckoned with. Really impressed with them as individuals, but also they made some smart team plays. So I don't want to discredit Veigar, Toxico. Both of them came out with 9 assists apiece. Yeah. Veigar also coming out with a 5.0. Really great play. Toxico we know as more of that objective style player. So you wouldn't expect to see as many kills in that case, but all 4 players really doing their work. And on the other side though, Anonimal for Post had a solid game. Comes out with a positive KDA, but unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, everybody else kind of writing up negative on there. It's just you can't, it's a lot to kind of pull up in those situations. Whereas Il Toxico being the only negative player on the opposite team, as you kind of want to get your assists up, and it just didn't work out for Post in the end. Kind of like some really good kind of close situations where they almost had it by the end. They got quick captures, but then just weren't able to hold on to it for those extended periods of time.
Yeah, honestly, when that first capture was like right there, right? Like you could taste the capture, and then all of a sudden we saw Boise State sweep through, finish off the final seconds they needed. I felt like that first capture kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. It feels like demoralizing, right? You feel like you're so close and it's hard to keep your morale up, your teamwork. Like there's a lot of communication involved, but also just trying to keep people like focused on the next objective. You can't change what's in the past and now look for what's next. And especially with Post University, they have another shot to get into playoffs. That's got to be the goal. This one, you can't take it back. This is already done and over. GG's to Boise State, but Post University will have another shot at this next week.
Yeah, and it's just like it does seem like a bit of a common thread, especially from 2 weeks ago, where they had that chance on live fire at the start and they kind of lost it, and it kind of snowballs a bit more and more and more as you go along. Just it's a kind of a thing to keep in mind for the future. But yeah, well, do you have thank you all for joining us tonight on Post University Halo versus Boise State. Post did not come out on top tonight, but we will see what happens next week when Post has another shot at the playoffs, at a spot on playoffs rather. Magick, do you have any last words before we kind of cut this off right now?
Yeah, I mean, Frisco was great getting to work with you. This is our first cast together, and honestly, it was so much more fun than talking to myself the whole night. So I appreciate you, and thank you for all your hard work with the broadcast and observing all the behind the scenes stuff for pulling it together. But as far as for Post University, what we see moving forward right now, they're still sitting at an even record, 3-3, and I'm looking forward to next week's match already. There's gonna be a lot on the line, but congrats to Boise State. True Mortar, reality, I would love to see more of those two names. Really impressed by both players there from Boise State. Yeah,
it'll be cool to see them in the future. And of course, likewise to you, this has been a wonderful experience. It's really cool to actually have somebody kind of do this with me. So it's, it's really awesome. I'm really happy to have done it. Really hoping to see kind of Post to kind of pull up a little bit next week, get there and kind of secure that playoff spot. Otherwise, thank you all for joining us tonight. This has been Post Halo versus Boise State. We will see you guys next week. Bye.